touchdown.
The impossible dream of a play. Madden is on the field. He wants to know if it's real. They said yes. Get your big butt out of here.
Whoa, he has trouble with the snap, and the ball is free. It's picked up by Michigan State. Jalen Watts Jackson, and he scores on the last play of the game.
There, he's got it. End zone. Touchdown, Titans. There are no flags on the field. It's a miracle.
It's a miracle. It's a miracle. Guess what? You guys, we made it to Sunday again. Hopefully, you guys have celebrated Mother's Day with your mom out here and have fun, with them. Moms are important, man. Us being both dads, fathers, we just be like, whatever, Father's Day, right? So everything counts for Mother's Day. You gotta go all out for mom, right? That's what it means, right? But that's okay, man, because without mom, I guarantee y'all wouldn't be here. That's just the way science works, doesn't it? But nonetheless, man, it's Sunday. Welcome to the Football Frame of Mind, man. We are going to discuss some stuff, man, today. And y'all gonna have some fun, man. We got another What If series. We got a special guest today that's gonna be our mediator, man, to tell us if we are fucking up or we good to go on our What If series today, man. But we got our NFL action, we got a little college football talk, man. Got our high school player spotlight as well. So don't forget that, man. So pay attention to those guys, because those guys are the superstars of tomorrow, maybe, man. So, but before we even get into it, how you doing, man?
And we're good, man. Return of the What If series. But before we go any further, make sure to check out all of those social media handles at the bottom. Make sure to like, follow, subscribe across all platforms such as YouTube, Facebook, TikTok. We stream on Twitch as well. If you're more of an audio person, like working on the go, like listening to stuff while you're in the gym, make sure to check us out on Spotify, Apple, and Amazon as well. Approaching with 33,000 subscribers on YouTube, so really good there. A really good month, career high last month. So you guys continue to smash that like button to get all of our stuff into that algorithm. It really does help as well. But yeah, got a lot of off-season chat, and we got the What If series coming back. It's gonna be plenty of fun, guys.
It's gonna be fire, man. It's gonna be fire, dog. So, we're going to introduce our special guest, man. He's really cool. He's been in our chat for a while, man. Like he been doing his thing, man. He got some really strong takes, and we happy to have him on here. The Pitch Grid, man. How you doing?
What's up, y'all?
How's it going?
What's good with you? What's good, man? So we gonna have some fun today, man. Let's check out these comments first before we start, man. First chat, Tyler.
You see that smooth, bro?
You did see that smooth, probably chilling with mom today. So we ain't too mad about that, man. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. All right, so let's bring this up, man. I done spilled the beans. My bad.
Oops. Don't pay any mind to that.
Don't pay mind to that. But let's see. They said, tell Pitch Grid Millboro sucked.
Say right back at you for burying, man.
Goddamn. So we got some high school rivalry going on here. See, that's smooth. See? Oh,
hey,
where you
bro,
at? Where you at?
Bro.
Where you at? You late,
slipping, bro. We were late. You still late.
You late, man.
Thought you slipping.
And we gave you a 30-minute start time, bro. Grace period. Go Pack, go Bills. That's Birchwood the Vampire. All right. So you know the drill, man. Come on over. The water's fine, man. The numbers increased. I don't like that. That's 90%. That means people watching, but you ain't pressing the button. What is going on?
It's
All
free.
you got to do is subscribe, man.
It's free. The water's fine.
That's it. Come
And
on,
they're
man.
cool too. Like,
Let's see what I'm saying. Like, come on, Fish Grid gets it, man.
absolutely, man.
Get along. Come on, man. You gotta do it. But y'all gotta subscribe, man. So to the 10% that are subscribed, thank you. We appreciate it, man. So let's get into our stuff, man. We usually start off with our college football stuff, man. So we're gonna start with that, man. It's just simple topic today. Nothing really crazy. Hey, yes, sir. You got clocked in early. But yeah, just a little topic today. Nothing too serious. But these are the top guys they're saying going in the draft next year, man. So we'll start with you, Pitch Grid. What do you think about this top 10? You liking it?
I could see some of them. I don't know. It feels like number. It's hard to see the list, but
Man, sorry about that.
it's all right.
Right,
I don't
right.
see great anyway. But yeah, I don't know. The one to the Raiders looks like an interesting one to me.
TJ Parker.
Yeah, TJ Parker.
Yeah, like it might be a position of need, but do the Raiders need? Are they going to be able to get him that high? Right?
I think that's kind of a stretch to have the Raiders in the top 10
Yeah.
next year. I think that's kind of crazy talk, in my opinion. I think the Raiders are. I think, me personally, I don't know where everybody else stands. If everything falls into place the right way for the Raiders, I think the Raiders could sneak in the playoffs. I know that might be a hot take, but they did a lot of addressing areas of need. You got Geno, you got your cornerstone at running back. I think the Raiders are far from a top 10 pick next year.
They need a better O-line. That's my only issue with that.
Yeah, they could upgrade the offensive line a bit. I think they addressed a little bit of that in the draft.
Little, but like Colton Miller's got a contract issue. There's a couple of others. That's going to be really interesting to see. But yeah, I don't know if they're going to pick top 10. They might pick top 15, and I don't know if they're going to be able to pick that high, and he might be gone by that point. That's my thing.
That's where I was gonna go. And see that Smooth says, can we see Arch play a full season?
I'm glad he's got the same take as me. It's like, look, the lineage, the name, we've seen small snippets of the talent, but I need to see him play an entire SEC schedule before I'm ready to spend
not only that,
pick on him.
Not only that, but I want to see him play more than one season. Arch, like, he sat out 2 years at Texas. Like, are we really going to just take him in the first year? Or is he just going to really just play 1 year and bounce? I don't think that's... If I'm a GM, I don't want to have a quarterback that's just had 1 year and
it's not uncommon, though. Look at Tyler Shough.
No, it's not, but it feels risky.
Yeah.
From what
I
I've seen
feel
of Arch,
like
there's ups
10
and
years
downs.
ago.
From what I've seen of his playing at Texas, it's up and down. Not consistent, but...
Yeah, Birchwood says he'll be on the floor before finishing his drop back. They're referencing their offensive line troubles, man. But for me, my biggest takeaway is Garrett Nussmeier, man. I know, Brandon, you are LSU personified, but I don't see it, man. The same thing you felt with Jalen Milroe, as far as not seeing it as an NFL quarterback.
That's not a fair comparison, bro. He led the SEC in passing yards, bro.
I'm not comparing them to like their skill set. I'm just saying as a first round grade, I don't see it.
Why would you think he's first round though, Brandon? Like, let me hear it out before I say anything.
So if we're just gonna go off, and this is biased aside, I'm just going off of the tape. If somebody's bad, I'm not gonna be like a homer. But him, you've got the arm strength for sure. He's tough. He's gritty. The only concern that we're really worried about right now, he's a gunslinger. Anytime you have a gunslinger back there behind center, you're worried about forcing balls in the tight coverage. trying to make something happen. That's always gonna be something, and we see guys like that all the time in the league still get things done. I think his intangibles are there. I think he can do it. I think it's really going to come down to like his development over this offseason. Like, are you going to cut back on those turnovers? And another thing is holding on to the ball too long as well. Knowing when to take off and get those few yards and just run for the first down instead of just trying to force it 20, 30 yards downfield and give the ball back to the other team. So I think he does have a lot to work on. But I think a first-round grade is warranted based on the pros from his game compared to his cons last year. I'm not saying a top 5 pick. Not saying a top 5 pick, but he could sneak into the first round.
Okay, but let's put this in the context of quarterbacks coming out next year. Do you think
he's him, Levitt?
Do you think he's top 5?
Top 5 quarterback next year?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know. What was the game last year that LSU lost? That Nussmeier just didn't play amazingly. I think it was Ole Miss. I might be wrong, but it felt like, I don't know. I can see both sides of the coin.
I mean, he did lead them on a game-winning drive that game, if that counts, especially when it mattered. So you can have a bad game but finish out strong.
But that's kind of the same thing I say about Dak Prescott, bro. Like,
but anybody can have an off game, though. That's a one game.
But you're good at cleaning up your own mess. They wouldn't have been in that mess.
But we're going off a one-game sample size with that. We're not saying, that's about as a whole.
I don't see, because the decision-making was a big problem for me. He had a lot of interceptions last year. Like, not as much as Carson Beck, but he did have a lot.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean,
and that's a key issue for me when you're picking in the first round, man. Like, decision-making is key, because you're picking a guy that's going to be your signal caller for the foreseeable future. And if you can't protect the pill, now what you gonna do when better defenses come after you?
Yeah.
And you don't have the luxury of Kyron Lacey, rest in peace, or Malik Neighbors, or receivers of that ilk on your team. You know, that is a big problem for me, you know? So going into this season, if he's going to be as far as a top 10 player, or at least as Fish Grid say, a top 5 quarterback, we're going to have to see some of those intangibles that you need, right? Now, I'm going to say he's going to play a tough schedule, right? So you're going to see probably the best he has to offer, right? And if that's not less turnovers than last season, then he's probably not going to be that high, man.
No, I don't think he's top 10. I don't think he is. I think he sneaks in, just depending on how the season goes, if they make playoffs, and if he cuts back on turnovers. That's the biggest things for me.
I will say this, like, I want to see it this season. This is the season he has to show it, though. Like, we've seen quarterbacks have mid-seasons and then skyrocket one year, and they shoot up draft boards. So, like,
Joe Burrow.
Yeah, Joe Burrow or Vince Young, for example, if you want to go back a little bit. Yeah. So, I mean, it's possible. I just want to see it before buying into the hype.
Yeah, I'm definitely not. I'm not up for the top 5, top 10 hype at all. I watched them there every game last year, and there were definitely concerns like how he had spoke of. So we need to see.
And what's even crazier is that as a Bama fan, right, you got Caden Proctor number 1, right? Now, for me, following the program as close as I do, he has number 1 potential in terms of size, physicality, and everything. He's like 6'7", 6'8", or something like that. But he's like 350 pounds, right? For me, I like my tackles to be a little bit more lean on that side, right? Because seeing him play last year, there was a lot of little guys, right? The Harold Perkins of the world, right? The little dudes that can edge rush really well, but kind of skating around him, right? Because he didn't have that mobility to really stop those guys. So for me, I want to see what he looks like this season as he slimmed down a little bit. I don't want him to lose too much power because when you lose weight, you kind of lose a little bit of oomph. But I want to see him just slim down a little bit if that adds a little bit more agility to him. That's it.
Okay.
Because
Here's
he's
the
got it.
question.
What's up?
If you are a GM and you have the number 1 overall pick, who are you picking there right now?
It depends the franchise, I feel like, in your areas of need. I don't see the Giants. They got the Giants at 1. I definitely don't see the Giants.
So throw out a team like that you would think would have the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah, like the Giants. I could see the Giants, or shoot, the Jaguars might be up there, or the Browns.
Okay, so if I'm the Jaguars, I definitely think about taking an O lineman number 1 because you already done drafted Travis Hunter, right? So you got weapons. You got Brian Thomas the year before, so you got weapons there. Then on defense, you got a pretty good front with I forgot his name, man. He's got a name similar to somebody else. But he's a cold lineman. And then 2 years prior or 3 years prior, you got Trayvon Walker, and he's turning into something pretty substantial, should I say. Maybe not like your best pass rusher yet, but every year he's increased his sacks. So that tells me he's on to something, right?
Right.
And if the Jaguars have the number 1 overall pick, that's probably because Trevor Lawrence got fucked up again.
He probably got injured. He missed substantial time because they have a talented roster.
Yeah,
I would agree.
So that will be my take on it. If they have the number 1 overall pick, it's not because they suck. It's because Trevor Lawrence is probably out, and you gotta address that. Because you gave him all that money, so you gotta protect your golden goose, man.
And you brought in Liam Cohen for that reason too. So,
and he brought up Cleveland too. If you think about Cleveland in this situation, I'm either thinking if they had the number 1 pick, I'm thinking that either everybody in the quarterback room got hurt and they were literally down to the bare bones, or they just couldn't get anything going. I mean, a lot of people would put Arch Manning there. It really depends on what you see out of your quarterbacks, honestly. Because if you have anything out, I mean, you drafted 2 rookies. Kenny Pickett's not going to be your guy. Joe Flacco's literally just holding the baton until somebody else takes it.
And then you still got the big albatross in Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
You still got that. I mean, I wouldn't be mad at them for going tackle if they had won. Crazy. I wouldn't be mad though, but I mean,
like their whole scenario made no sense anyway, right? Like we're going off on a tangent, but this is really cool stuff to talk about because you're the Browns, right? And you give Deshaun Watson all of that money, right? And me and Brandon talked about it before. Yes, that was warranted because he was a top 5 quarterback when he left Houston. He had the best season. I made a short about it. He had the best season a quarterback's ever had on a losing team. 4-12, and he was about 4,000 yards.
He was like in the top. I think he was like top 3 MVP voting that year too. Like he was
top 5 in MVP. I mean everything on a 4-12 team, right? So that was warranted, right? But then you go into this situation, and maybe that's him going through all that off the field stuff as well. But you go into a 4-12 franchise. Like this is what the Browns are. They are 4-12 as a franchise. They are dog shit. That's what they've been since they got their team back. So you can't expect a person that's mentally already exhausted from what he had to go through, whether it's his fault or not. You had to deal with that. And then, as Birchwood says, and we're gonna get to the rest of the comments, man. But fully guaranteed was crazy.
Especially to be the highest contract in NFL history. That was insane.
That's the crazy part about it. Not the dollar amount, because he deserved that. But giving him fully guaranteed as he's going through a civil lawsuit is crazy work. Because you don't even know if he was going to be convicted at the time, bro. Like,
he sat out for over a year, but we've seen guys sit out for over a year and they come back and they're not most of the time they're not the same player. Guys like Le'Veon Bell and so on. They
Le'Veon
come back
Bell?
and the production's not there. So it was not a good move.
That was nasty work, man. So but Nicholas Henry says Arch. I mean, but see, everybody brings that up. Like Arch was benched for a 7th round pick. But let's not forget that Ewers was the guy.
Ewers should have been a 3rd or a 4th round pick. Let's just be realistic. 7th round pick was crazy. Quinn Ewers is like his intangibles are crazy.
Like
There's
Tyler Schultz going to your Saints in the 2nd round. Like I would have, if I really wanted to take a quarterback that that maybe fits what my head coach is looking for.
I would have liked Ewers in New Orleans, to be honest. And that's not even liking the Saints. I thought it was a good fit.
You could have took Sanders. You could have took Ewers. Hell, I wouldn't be mad if you took Milroe in the 2nd round. I would have felt better. Bro, yes, you would have.
Not in the 2nd round, bro.
In the 2nd round, bro? Really?
I was not taking Milroe in the 2nd round, bro.
Why not? You already said he wasn't going to be a 1st rounder, right? That's fair. But 2nd round, and you need a quarterback.
I wasn't even okay with them going, like, if you wasn't going to go QB in 1st round, like, I just didn't see why they took Shook in the 2nd round. I wouldn't have went QB. I would have waited.
Anybody except
I would have waited and took care of the other areas of need. They have a really old roster.
No, I'm saying I'm not saying that Kelvin Banks was a bad pick, right? That's fine. You got your future tackle for probably 10 years if he pans out, right? But I'm just saying that 2nd round, you gotta pick somebody at least with something else. If you're not gonna go Sanders, right? You're like, oh, we don't want him, right? There are like 3 other quarterbacks that you could fit into that system right away.
Yeah. I'm just saying, I don't think you had that. I'm just saying, I didn't think they had to do it 2nd round, especially with how the quarterbacks fell. They could have easily got another good skill position player they needed.
It did feel like a panic pick, that's for sure.
Well, there have been reports, but there have been reports for a couple of months that they really liked him. Like, that had been something floating around, especially like with different sources. But just in the 2nd round, like, I get it. Like, his skill set's a good skill set, really good arm strength, good accuracy, pretty pro-ready quarterback, probably one of the more pro-ready guys in the class. I just didn't agree with them taking him there. Like, if you were going to take him, I feel like you could have waited until the 3rd round and got another area to need in the 2nd round.
I feel like that pick was like
I could see that.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that was.
I mean, heck, you could throw the Saints in this category of the number 1 discussion.
It's a possibility. The Saints have definitely a strong possibility of drafting in the top 5, depending on how things shake out for them. They definitely are the most unfavored team in the division right now.
Now, do they go after Cousins?
Hell no. That would be a Mickey Loomis thing to do, but they're still talking about Aaron Rodgers. His name's floating around. I'm like, dude, just let the 2 young guys compete. It's a brand new start. Like, let them have at it. If you're bad and you're drafting in the top 5, if you don't like the 2 quarterbacks you got, guess what? You can draft a guy there, or you can go somewhere else with it. But
my Chaos Gremlin likes that thought.
No, not Magic City. There ain't no Magic City, Kirk, no more.
Yeah, and see that Smooth says Quinn kind of got blackballed like Shador. Like, I don't think so. I think he slipped because of injury concerns, honestly, because he was hurt the year before and then he got hurt this year. So it's kind of like,
Not only that, just his inconsistent play before last year. Last year that was probably his best year.
He balled out last year.
Yeah, but the years before that, he was so inconsistent. Like, as a Big 12 fan myself, like, I preferred playing against Ewers than someone else because it felt like we could take advantage of any mistakes he might make.
Yeah, that's true. And Nicholas Henry says, plus Ohio, Iowa breeds O linemen. That is true, man.
Iowa, Nebraska, Notre Dame, teams like that.
Yeah.
Tight ends too. My word, Iowa's tight end you.
Yeah, that too. They got a lot of tight ends in there now. Dallas Clark went there. You got a guy from 49ers went there as well.
Kittle, yeah.
Hawkinson.
Hawkinson as well. So you got a lot of dudes that playing tight
Laporta.
end.
Oh shit, Sam Laporta did go there too. That's true.
Yeah, so you got a lot, man. That's a good school to get a tight end from, man. Considering they don't necessarily pass the ball very much. But Nicholas Henry says if the Browns draft Arch, they're screwed. I mean, yeah. I think if they get the first overall pick, he's definitely staying in school.
He's like,
I'm pulling the Andrew Luck. You will not draft me. What's up?
Realistically, it's probably the best move for him is to stay under the year because you can have a really good 1 year, but that doesn't mean that you're guaranteed because teams are taking risks. But I feel like the way the NFL is going, they might be less prone to taking that risk unless it is Cleveland with that first pick. Anybody else might be like, eh.
Like if Cleveland gets the number 1 overall pick, right, and they draft a quarterback, they'll probably burn the city to the ground, bro. Like, think about it, because you already took 2 rookie quarterbacks, right? One of which had a universal first round grade, right? Universal. So obviously he's in front of Dylan Gabriel, right? Not just because he got drafted behind him doesn't mean anything. If you had to pick Dylan Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders, I'm probably sure you pick Shedeur Sanders just off of how he played, right? But now you got, like I said, Deshaun Watson is still there. He's still owed a lot of money. Then you got Flacco, who played pretty good.
Got him to the playoffs.
Yeah. His last time at Brown, he was amazing.
So let's not forget that he played pretty good, right? You know,
no, his time with the Colts last year was bad. Last year was awful. My word, did he suck.
Yeah, so that's a team that could be in there. I'm not necessarily sure what the Colts do, but as me and Brandon said during the draft, them drafting Tyler Warren shows me that they're invested in Anthony Richardson. So they obviously want to.
They have to.
Yeah, like they want to see him succeed, or at least they are showing that they have that idea, because you don't draft that particular player if you don't want him to succeed next season, right? So that's where we were going with it, man. But let's see.
I was just thinking, like, Flacco with the Colts last year, he was bad. I think it was the Jags game. He threw like 5 picks. He was
on his Nathan Peterman-ish.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, don't say that name. Jeez, don't say Nathan Peterman at all. Jeez,
like, I don't understand.
And I don't want NFL quarterback, bro.
I just don't, and I don't want to get too far off because I don't want to keep us like off the rails too long. But like, I don't know how that guy kept the job as long as he did. I just don't get it. Like, Cam, are you going Paxton Lynch or are you going Nathan Peterman? That's
well, in terms of college career, I'd take Paxton Lynch.
Hey, the memes live forever, man. We love the memes.
I'm telling you. So Birchwood Vampire says he hates that Miami got yours. Hey, man.
That's a good move for them.
One more concussion from Tua, and yours is the starting quarterback for the Dolphins. Let's just say that. We don't want to see that happen.
Daniel gets fired.
Yeah.
And it's looking like that. If they get off to a rough start.
That doesn't feel like a good team to me, man.
It's just not. They're talented, but they're not a good team.
That feels like a top 5 drafting team to me. Like, I mean, yeah, you got Tua. Like that's the only thing that might keep them from drafting top.
Tyreek,
Jalen Waller.
Yeah, like you got those kind of players.
But that's not a good football team. They have good players.
Yeah,
they're not a good team.
That just seems like they're going to steal a few games.
They got Cam's boy, Chop Robinson.
That's my dog.
I'm
talking about Chop. That's my boy, Chop. I'm telling you. But see that Smooth agrees with us, man. And then he says, Tyler says the Saints are going to be back to celebrate field goals and first downs next season. I don't know. I don't know if y'all gonna get that, but and then Birchwood says he had Sanders, Howard, and Ewers graded above Milrow. But Milrow went first of all of them. I'm telling you, dog. It's something about that skill set, dog. Like having the skill set to be able to run around the goal line. Man.
I think it's the mentality. I think it's his mental. I think that his mental, like against, particularly what was it, the bowl game, I think that showed a lot. I think to teams that he has some toughness. And
but he went to a good situation though.
Yeah,
That's
he did.
A great situation.
Yeah,
Seattle's perfect.
Yeah, the like I said, that other than his running ability, like to be under that microscope like that, like people understand how hard that season was. Nick Saban literally retired after that fucking season.
I remember that.
Like literally, just like yo, I'm gone, right? So now you got to hire a new coach, learn a new system, and try to keep the players from leaving because we in the transfer portal era. So one constant was Jalen Milrow. So the fact that he was able to deal with that, and I think the draft talk kind of got into his mind a little bit just off of his performance, right? Because certain times he was just honed in on Ryan Williams, and that was it. Like you ain't have running back to throw to, you ain't have other receivers to throw to. You just throwing to Ryan Williams, and we hoping shit sticks, right? And I think that was the thing of just rushing into a season, not really knowing what the fuck you getting into. So that's what it was, in my opinion, and that hurt him because after that Georgia game, everybody was like, "Yo, Jalen Milrow top 5," like, and but that's kind of how that's what sucked about that part, man. But I do agree with you. His mentality, a little toughness, man. And who knows how Seattle goes, man. One thing, Seattle's always been kind of a team that went against the grain a little bit, when it comes to quarterbacks, right? Nobody thought Matt Hasselbeck was going to be anything. He was backing up Brett Favre for all them years, right? Nobody thought Jim Zorn was going to be one of the best quarterbacks of his generation.
Underrated Jim Zorn. What a pull.
Lefty.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Nobody thought he was going to be shit. And then my favorite Seattle quarterback of all time, bro, Russell Wilson. They signed Matt Flynn to a multi-year deal. And
who was the QB in the 90s? Like, that QB for the Seahawks wasn't bad.
Craig.
Yeah,
Craig. Out of this world. He actually has a pretty good career, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, Russell Wilson, man, he beat out Matt Flynn on a multi-year contract in training camp. So my thing is, obviously, he's not going to beat out Sam Darnold. They just paid him a lot of money. But don't be afraid if Jalen Milrow, gets to play a little bit. And they got a couple packages for him. And he might win them some games. Just being able to kind of do some wildcat shit. I don't know.
That would be fun. That would be really fun.
Yeah, just like, hey, look, we ain't going to use our $100 million quarterback to do a quarterback sneak. But we got a 6'4", 235-pound quarterback that we can definitely use in this situation.
Do some RPO action.
Yeah, if the Dolphins can use Jacoby Brissett as the quarterback sneak quarterback because they don't want Tua in there, I guarantee Jalen Milrow can find him a spot.
Man.
And then I think we got a little bit of banter between a couple of people in the chat, man. So that's cool. And then it's not McDaniels they need to fire, it's Chris Greer. So I want to say what, GM?
He's the GM, yeah.
Okay. Well, shit, man. Usually these type of firings come in packs. So they usually both will probably be gone. So
except if you're the Jaguars. And then they won't fire Trent Baalke until last year.
That was bad.
Yeah.
And then you bring in a guy that Duval.
Yeah, but we'll move forward, man. Let us know in the comments what you think about those top players for next year. If you like that top 10 or not, let's see. We like to talk about it, man. But let's get into some recruiting, man. So these are your top 5 tight ends, man, going into 2026. We got some good ones, man. I'm excited about the number 1 dude. Okay.
6'6",
6'6", 250 from North Carolina, Kendry Harrison, man.
And Oregon got him.
And Oregon got him. So Oregon's kind of building this thing where they're getting a lot of good players, man.
They didn't get Lincoln Cure, though.
What do you say?
They didn't get Lincoln Cure. We got him.
Well, hey.
My Wildcats got Lincoln Cure.
Hey, man.
They flipped the number 1 receiver from us, though. Just saying.
They say don't let Ian Premier go to K-State. Well, hey.
Don't say never, man.
It's gonna be a battle though, because it seems like Kansas and Kansas State are trying to get him. So I mean,
16 years. We got this.
So
he said he thought you was a Jayhawk.
No, I'm not. Never been, man.
He's a Snyder guy, bro. We don't do that.
Oh yeah.
We don't do that. I don't even like the Jayhawks, man. I'm sorry, man. I can't do it.
Respect, man.
I don't even like the Jayhawks either, dog. Like, they had one good season in my lifetime, and that was like 2008. That was it.
They had a good one a couple years ago. Not to the same degree, but
not going to the Orange Bowl.
No.
That was it.
Oh my word. Mangini was Mangini was something else.
No, when they had homeboy from Notre Dame, that was bad.
No, Charlie Weiss. Oh my god. Oh my god.
I loved
that was horrible. That was horrible, man.
Oh, it was
what a waste,
TV, though.
What a waste. Why would you you just come off of 3 Super Bowls with the Patriots, and then you go to Notre Dame? You couldn't get no head coaching job in the NFL. You literally take a step, you take a step down, in my opinion, to go back to college. Even though that's a big time program, you just won 3 Super Bowls, or at least 2, with the Patriots.
I mean, you can say the same with Bill O'Brien.
Yeah, but Bill had kind of burned his bridge with the NFL, in my opinion, especially with how he handled things in Houston. So
fair.
Yeah.
Now he's got a pretty decent gig with Boston College, man. They weren't bad last year. So
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and I mean, and what he did at Houston was just ridiculous. You trade DeAndre Hopkins, who caught 100 passes in 3 straight seasons, for a running back that really never saw the day of light again after
1 year wonder.
Yep, 1 year wonder.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So that just sucked, man. And then you rub your quarterback the wrong way, right? You trading all the good players away. If he wouldn't have got the GM job, he would have been perfect. That's all. But these are your top tight ends, man. And Nicholas says schools like Oregon have money. All they care about is the bag. We want Proctor back. He did us dirty, committing twice from his home state to chase the $1 million deal. So, Nicholas, he left Alabama because Nick Saban abruptly retired. I think he was just upset. I don't think Iowa was the option at all. Okay? I'm sorry, man. You could say he chased a multi-million NIL deal, and that might have been true. But I don't think he truthfully wanted to be in Iowa in the first place, because if he did, he would have committed out of high school. and it wouldn't even be an issue.
With recruiting the way it is these days, I think people assume it's the money, but I think it could be so multifaceted and so complex to each individual, and the nuance I think gets missed a lot because you get paid now to play. So I don't know. To me, there's a lot of complexity you can take into recruiting, and it does suck because like the smaller schools don't normally like get those kind of recruits. Like Lincoln Cure is the highest ever recruit now in K-State history. Like, yeah, it feels weird, but at the same time, like recruiting is just a very complex situation in general anyway. But because you want to win, obviously, if you're a good player, and you want to develop and all that. But anyway.
Yeah, man. Nah, I get that. And then see that Smooth says, get your money up, not your funny up. And then Nicholas says he committed to Iowa before his senior season. So that's my point. Because before his senior season, Iowa was probably the biggest offer he had. Then you play that senior season out, and it's like, oh shit, this guy pretty good. So if Iowa was interested, guess what? Now Ohio State's interested. Now Bama's interested, right? So at that time, which school are you going to pick if you didn't have an offer yet? If you didn't have an offer from Bama and Ohio State before your senior season, and Iowa was the biggest offer, which one are you going to commit to? Now we get through our senior season, and now I got Ohio State, I got Bama. Guess whose offer goes deeper in the back of the file cabinet? Iowa's. So that's why, man. And I just think he was mad. That's all. Like, I mean, I'll be mad too, bro, if my coach just like, oh, I'm not coaching no more. I'm like, damn, I came here to play for you. Now I gotta sit here and think about this, but hopefully now that one season is gone, this is year 2 under Kalen DeBoer. Hopefully, we do a little bit better than last season. Let's just be honest. The bowl game was quite atrocious. I was not happy about that. But let's get into our high school player spotlight. Then we'll get into some what ifs, man. So a high school player spotlight, man. We're talking about Tyler Powell. He's a defensive end, quarterback, kinda out of North Carolina. I want to say Tarboro High School. Right now, we've been trying to find his star ranking all day. We can't really find it. It's not on it's not on 3 or 24/7. But on Max Preps, he got 25 sacks. The next highest of his class of 2026. So
wow.
So like that lets you know, right? And watching his huddle tape, it's legit. He's smacking quarterbacks out there. Now, maybe it wasn't 25 and Max Preps be lying sometimes, but he was smacking quarterbacks on that game film, man. And you can't sack the same quarterback 25 times, okay? Not one game. But he definitely looked good, man. So I think he can project that at least. I think he can get to 235, 245, right? As he, matures through college. I think that's his frame. He might get a little taller too, being young as he is. But I think he'll be a really good fit, right? So depending on how he develops and how his recruiting develops, they're going to get a good player, right? And if I had to say, we usually do an NFL comp, man. But since I really didn't see any other information in terms of like his star ranking and things like that, I just went with a player that I think he resembles a lot. And I really think that Harold Perkins could be his comp in terms of explosion, finishing explosion, right? Like there's a level of like, goddamn, there's a level of aggressiveness that he tackles with, right? And I
You
like
like
that.
that.
Yeah, I like that a lot too, man. And the fact that he has like a really good first step, standing up anyway. I didn't see him with his hand in the dirt too much, which is fine because he's only 205 pounds, right? But standing up, he really has a really quick get off. And I think if that can translate to college, I think that's pretty good. And one thing about Harold Perkins, man, even coming off an injury, he should have that first step just a little bit. And I
Sounds
like
like Derek Thomas a bit too.
I wouldn't go that far.
Not no, but
I wouldn't go that far.
makings of it.
Because DT was nice, man.
DT was amazing.
DT was something serious.
Legend is DT.
Yeah, man. No doubt, man. Let's see. He was let's see, Nicholas is on the he's still on the Proctor thing. He's like he's no one prospect. Bama was there. I mean, hey, bro. I mean, okay, if you offer somebody 150K and then somebody offer you $1 million, sorry, bro. Like that's a big difference.
Again,
bro.
it's multifaceted. There's a lot of factors that play into that.
That's a lot, though. Like,
you got to think about it. Like in the game, we're in the game of intangibles and things you don't know what's going to happen. The NFL isn't guaranteed. Look at Jordan Travis. Projected to be a really good quarterback in the league, has a gruesome injury. Trying to rehab the injury his entire rookie year, retires. So I'm not completely mad at a guy for taking money like that because his career in the injury, at least you set yourself up. Like loyalty is one thing, but
and then to be honest with you, like he would probably have more fun in Alabama, man. Like because, like if not even Iowa, because that's his hometown, right? It's not even like the state or the city of Iowa, right? It's just you're going to just be running the ball at Iowa. I mean, Caleb Johnson just had 50% of the offense last year. That's it. So all you're gonna be doing is running at this point, right? But at least at Bama, you got a chance to maybe pass block 50% of the time, right? So I don't know.
Get some tape out there,
Yeah, and then see that Smooth says off topic, but the Pacers are beating the Cavaliers 80-39. Wow.
Can't watch NBA, bro. That's hot garbage.
That game is hot garbage.
Hot garbage.
Man, but I'm sorry, man. 80-39 in the playoffs. That's a garbage ass game, bro. That's worse than watching it in the regular season, bro. Like if you really tune into the playoffs and it's a score like that, shit. And off topic, but the Cavs are the number 1 seed in the NBA playoffs for the Eastern Conference. That's why that's important. They're supposed to be the best team in the Eastern Conference flat out. Losing like that is definitely not a thing, man. So but Birchwood says imagine Derek Thomas today on the Chiefs.
Oh, if only.
I'd rather not.
I would love that.
Absolutely not.
I would rather not. I don't want to do that.
I would take that every day of the week.
Birchwood says the NBA is killing
itself. It done killed itself already, bro.
Yeah, it is, man. But that's a high school player spotlight, man. So Tyler Powell, if you watch the show, if you find this on YouTube, man, we watching, man. We want to see how your recruiting goes, man. But it's time for the best part of the show, man. So we're going to do a quick commercial break. If you could find it, Brandon, that'll be cool. All right, cool. You got me. Run a quick commercial break. We'll be right back on the Football Frame of Mind. I can't hear you. Muted.
Yeah. Are we doing the what if after this?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna do the commercial, then have the what if intro after.
All right, cool. right. It's that time. It's that time for our What If series, man. It is something we started this channel doing on a daily basis, man. But now as we get into this off season, we had a really good season last year in terms of growing our channel. So now we want to get back to some of the stuff that we really enjoy doing, man. So we're happy to have Pitch Grid with us, man, so we can actually talk about some of this stuff, man. Uh, so we're gonna start off this What If series, man, with the no, I take it back. We got some news. I'll take it back. Before we get into our What If series, we gotta wish Derek Carr a happy retirement, man. Finished his career with 35,000 passing yards, man. 200 touchdowns, total touchdowns. He's a 3-time Pro Bowler, man. Having a little bit life lessons are really kind of hurting him right now. Life is lifing for him. I'm gonna give condolences to his wife. He had a miscarriage and everything. And he's dealing with the shoulder injury that ultimately probably caused him to hang it up, right? So life is lifing for him right now. And I really hope that he's all right and that this whole decision is just to just chill out in life, just kind of redo things in his life, and just get it together. Because football is only half of it, not even half. It's 1/4 of your life. You got the other 3/4 of your life to really worry about. So hopefully he is good, and we just want to wish him happy retirement, man. So he can really, really enjoy life. So I liked him. Me and Brandon differ on his brother's impact in the NFL. We differ on it. But I like to say he definitely had a better career.
Yeah.
And than people expected, honestly. Because he was a 2nd-round draft pick. So, he obviously had to really he got the job anyway. But I think he did a lot better than people thought he would do.
I mean, he was an MVP finalist in 2016. He doesn't break his leg in that one game, he probably wins it.
Yeah. See, so I just think it was just fun to have two brothers in different phases of the NFL play. David Carr being the 1st-round pick of the Texans ever, their first pick ever. So that was pretty cool, right? Even though it really didn't amount to anything. Like I said, me and Brandon differ on how good he really was. But that's neither here or there. But I really think that it was really cool to see both of them play from the same college as well. Like, it's really cool. So hopefully, they got a son and we can do this Arch Manning thing with Carr family. Like, hey, my uncle and my dad played. Like, hey, maybe we can do that too one day, man. But definitely happy retirement, man, for Derek Carr, and best wishes to everything after that, man.
So, you mind if I give a spill on this real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, before anything, happy retirement. I really liked him when they were going to go on that playoff run. Had he not broke his fibula in that game, the Raiders had a strong case to try to make a trip to the Super Bowl. They were a really good team. He was playing stellar.
They were.
So let's get that.
I hate to say that they were.
But when the Saints gave him that contract, I was already skeptical of that. I'm like, I don't know if I would have gave him that much. Had some injuries, things of that nature. Fast forward, there's a lot of things up in the air with whether it's injuries, like are you going to have surgery or this or that. But then there's like a lack of communication between him and the organization, and he's doing YouTube and all this and that, and everybody's just looking around like, hey, like, are you just trying to force your way out for a trade? Or like, are you just trying to nurse an injury? So it was just really odd. Now, if he's dealing with some things like that, then condolences there. But it was just some things that didn't really add up for me. It didn't really sit right with me because I kind of feel like you were kind of leaving them out of the loop. I'm like, yeah, you're supposed to be nursing an injury, but you're doing this and that. And you seem like you're doing perfectly fine, yada, yada. And then all things aside, this is a really good thing for the Saints because they can, one, go forward. Not just that, they free up $30 million in cap space. This move. Carr retains $10 million. The Saints are going to retain anywhere between like around $30 million in cap space. So that can really help them. Maybe get a couple other veterans to really help fill out the roster. Keenan Allen's still out there. You can get somebody like that for your receiver core. Asante Samuel is still out there. He does have tackling issues. I think that they could use that money wisely to bring in some other guys to at least try to help them be competitive. So good for retirement, but for the Saints, this is a major W. Now you don't have any question marks. You can just go in with a couple of young guys and just see what happens. No crazy expectations. Just see what happens and then go into next year.
Yeah, but now it makes drafting Tyler Shutt seem even more stupid. Like,
not really, because they weren't fully. You don't know if you're fully set on Rattler. Now you can at least let the two young guys play.
Or who's the other one? Hayner. I mean,
Hayner's a non-factor. Hayner's not getting the job.
Yeah, no, I know he's not.
I liked him at Fresno State. I thought he was good, but he's not going to be the guy. It's going to be one of those two guys.
Yeah,
I think Rattler will probably get the nod, and then we'll see what happens.
But here's my thing: like, even what you seen from Rattler last season, I think if you had drafted Shedeur Sanders at that pick that you guys had, that you drafted Kelvin Banks with, do you think he beats out Rattler?
Probably.
It really depends. We're only seeing a couple of days of rookie camp. I mean, you really never know.
I'm just
I don't know, but that's a big question because we don't know what Rattler's going to look like. Seeing how his development's gone in the offseason. We don't know what kind of growing pains Shedeur Sanders is going to have. Most people can be like, oh, Shedeur Sanders. But, like, that's a big intent. Like, that's a big what if. Like, you really don't know.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, you took Shuck in the second round. Does it look kind of like a funky fit pick? Yeah. But from my perspective, like, you don't really lose. Like, you got – either way, in the first round, you got a cornerstone at tackle. That's good, right? Regardless of what you did in the second round, that was a good pick for you. If neither one of these guys work out for you, guess what? And if you suck, they have a much better quarterback class coming in the next year, and you can draft a guy that maybe you feel a little bit more comfortable with. So, yeah, I could see, like, the pushback. But for the most part, they free up cap space. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. They have a much better class coming in next year.
Okay. No, look, I just wanted to get your thoughts on it, man. That's all, man. Let's see. The Birchwood says David Carr was screwed going to an expansion team. If you had gone to a team without pylons for offensive line, you would have had a Derek type of career. I agree. I'm sorry, man. I do. And actually, if I'm being honest, I went off on a tangent about this, I think, on a couple episodes ago. I think they messed up their whole franchise growth in 2002 anyway. Because, yes, you need a quarterback to
They
start.
should have took Peppers there.
Yes, that's my point. You had Dom
Both
Capers.
agreed.
You had Dom Capers, who was the defensive coordinator of the 90s, pretty much. And you got this albatross in player, aircraft carrier, and Julius Peppers, right? Nobody knew Julius Peppers would be 170 sacks or whatever. Nobody knew that. But damn it, he looked like he could do it.
College, the intangibles spoke for themselves. Like you could see it on the tape.
Yeah, man. So I'm saying do that, right? Because your team's gonna suck regardless. Because
I mean, they got like Baselli, I think it was, as
and
one of their expansion picks, and then of course they had Casterly as the GM, which that feels weird because like Casterly was supposed to be such a good GM, and then he flamed out miraculously.
Yeah, man. Like drafting Carr will seem like let's just get our franchise quarterback first, right? But it seems sacrilegious because you basically letting him get fucked up that first year. Like they gave up 76 sacks in that first season, man. Your quarterback got hit. That's just the sacks. What about the times he got killed before that?
Yeah,
all out of bounds. So that's my whole thing, man. Like I just think they just put him in a very bad situation. And even though they got Andre Johnson, like maybe the next year or whatever, That's not enough. He never really had a good offensive line, man. And when they did, they spent money on like Amon Green or some shit. And he was way past his prime when he got there. So it just seemed like that team was just, over with, right? And I like what you said, Birchwood, man, about Tim Couch. I mean, Tim Couch, people say that, oh my God, Tim Couch was so bad. Look at his Kentucky
that
film.
team was bad, dog.
Look at
That was an
his
awful
film
Browns
at
team.
Kentucky. He hadn't played at Kentucky in about 30 years, and he still got records there to this day. So that just lets you know how good he was. That pick right there was good for them. They needed a franchise quarterback. It just sucked that that was basically the same scenario. An expansion team, basically. Even though the Cleveland Browns had been a franchise before, that's still an expansion team because they ended up with the first round pick in 99, first overall pick in 99 and 2000. So that lets you know how bad they were, And both of them picks technically didn't pan out, in my opinion, because they sucked. Like Courtney Brown was really good, but that's all they had on defense for that second year. And then the first year, all you had was Tim Couch. That's it. And there you go. That's how bad.
Hey, at least they didn't get Achilles Smith.
Oh shit, yeah. Yeah, man. And sandwiched in between both of those picks, Tim Couch being number 1 and Achilles Smith being number 3 is Donovan McNabb at 2.
That's crazy.
What's even more
Imagine if
ironic,
Couch went to Philly instead of him.
right? And what's even more ironic is that the Phillies fans at the draft were like, "Boo! Who is this guy? He sucks." And you really could have gotten the alternate universe: Achilles Smith with the Eagles or Tim Couch with the Eagles.
I mean, he could have killed it there, though, bro.
I think Tim Couch could have killed with the Eagles. I do.
That's what I'm saying.
I do. I think he would have been pretty good because
Andy Reid coaching him, that would have been amazing.
Yeah, I think so. I think that would have worked. Now, Achilles Smith, I think, was sort of in what we were talking about with Arch Manning, right? Coming out after one full year. Because that's basically what happened to him. He had one really good year at Oregon where he lit up the scoreboard and he already had NFL height and weight and all of that, right? So he looked like a really good prospect. But you really needed to see another season before, like, hey, let's take him 3rd overall on the Bengals, who absolutely sucked at this time. Like,
yeah,
that's it. They were pretty bad, and they're so bad that they got Carson Palmer, who turned out to be pretty good. So,
yeah.
So there you go, man. And then Birchwood says, sometimes when you lose your confidence, it's over. I mean, yeah, just like a kicker, man. Once you lose that confidence, you start shanking shit, and that's it. What if idea? Let's see what you guys see as move. Nah, all right. I will double that. You know what? I'll double it. I'll do that next. I'll do that what if next, but I'm gonna change it around. What if the Raiders just took Al Davis's draft rights away?
Yes.
In the year
2000.
Yes. In the year 2000.
No, specifically in the year 2007.
Fuck all that. I'm talking about 2000.
Yeah, but 2007 was bad, bro.
Yeah, no. Every draft in the 2000s except for 2000 because Charles Woodson was 98, 99.
Oh, but bro, like 07, dude, he completely pulled the Plaxico burst and shot himself in the foot. Let me give Jamarcus Russell this big crazy freak. I did that what if already if Russell actually worked out. But like
but like I said, we went into the what if about that scenario, I think last year. And that scenario just it from the jump it was fucked up. Like yeah, you take him 1st overall, and I can see why you did it. He's got a big arm, it's exciting. He probably could throw a lot of touchdowns, right? But you already messed him up when you hired Lane Kiffin just to fire him after year 1.
Facts.
Like
Oh,
that's
and they brought in Town
already.
Cable.
Yeah, like you literally stop his development right then and there.
Terrell
Because
Pryor was
Lane
their
Kiffin,
quarterback that year. My word.
like you can't even put your fingers into him if you're Lane Kiffin. Like
Chiefs had that Raiders team at one point at 3rd and 48. Like, my word.
like that was a bad team, bro.
It was.
I mean, you had to fight. You had to fight for your job if you're Lane Kiffin every day because they wanted to fire him as soon as they hired him. So you can't even worry about your own quarterback trying to get him to focus on what you need to do because you fighting for your job. And then he was kicked. He was basically fired the next year. So then he goes from Tom Cable to I want to say, oh man,
The former player, right?
was it Art Shell?
Yes.
Yeah, Art Shell after that. And then after that, it was Hugh Jackson,
Oh, my word.
and which wasn't terrible because they won like 8 games or something
Yes,
like
but
that.
still, it's Hugh Jackson.
Oh yeah, because the Cleveland days.
Yeah, he got fired from Grambling too.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
But I mean, but that's my thing though. Cleveland literally was ass, bro. They
It
were
was.
so bad. Like even if he takes that job, it's still gonna be ass. I don't think it was him. I just think they were horrible. You started that season with Deshaun Kaiser at quarterback, bro.
Yeah. That Keon Coleman play literally signified their entire season.
Yeah. Oh yeah, when he dropped that ball and hit him like right in the face.
Yeah.
That's another guy I thought was gonna be really good, man. Boy, his Baylor
Right?
highlights are
Oh, my word.
absolutely insane, bro. But he just still put it together. But let's see, hot take from Birchwood. Denver's winning the AFC West.
I'm not ready
No.
to say that
I'm
yet.
not.
They're good. They're good, but they're not ready yet.
All right, let's get into this.
What
This
if?
what if series, man. See the question marks. See the question marks. Huh? What? What? Who? What? That's what it is, man. So, Brandon, this is your what if, man. So I'm gonna let you start it off, man. What you got?
So this is coming from the team who won the positive impact of this game. Driving down to the wire, Super Bowl 49. Patriots had the lead. Seattle's driving right down the field with ease, which is crazy because our defense is legit. They get inside the goal line. You're anticipating Beast Mode's going to get the handoff because why not? He's been getting it all season long. He's been
You
killing it
see
all
them
season long.
arms, though? You see them arms? Who was tackling him?
So me sitting there in this moment, I'm like, well, it was a good run. You know, we can't win them all. You know, we lost the last 2 we were in. I'm like, I guess it just is what it is. So when I see that ball get snapped and Russ goes into a throwing motion, I'm like, that's odd. And he goes to throw it, and I'm like, well, he's gonna find him. He's gonna throw a slant or something. Somebody's gonna be open. He throws it in the coverage. I look back, and all you see is Brady jumping up and down the sidelines. I'm like, no freaking way, this dude just turned. I'm like, this dude really just threw a pick, bro. And all you see is everyone on the sideline, like, and Marshawn Lynch just goes to the peaker, ha, like dumbass, like what you doing? But like the impact of this game, like if you look like over the next 5-10 years, this game completely changed the trajectory of this team. Seattle goes ahead and if they run the ball, they win this game. Seattle's going to stay a perennial powerhouse in the NFC, but you can see, like if you go next year, 10 games, they win 10 games, losing divisional round. Another 10-win season, divisional round. They miss the playoffs after that, lose the wild card, lose divisional. But as you see, like over the next couple of years, where they give Russ gets a 4-year extension following this, so they're like, we're gonna lock him up. You know, we went to 2 back-to-back or 2 Super Bowls, cool. They extend Michael Bennett after that. You get in the 2017, they trade Marshawn Lynch. They signed Eddie Lacy, Cheeseburger Eddie. Cam knows all about Cheeseburger Eddie.
I do know about Cheeseburger Eddie. He was good when he wasn't on them cheeseburgers.
They give Cam Chancellor an extension. So it's like, okay, well, you know, he traded Marshawn. We're still trying to retain players. But, like, once you get into 2018, you know, the Seahawks are staying in this 9 to 11, 10-win range. but they just can't punch back through the glass ceiling. It's like something after that game completely they just couldn't get back. You see, they released Cliff Averill, they cut Richard Sherman, they lose Earl Thomas in free agency. You go into the
heard
next
some of
year,
the interviews from players over this era? It's fascinating.
They bring in Geno, they re-sign Marshawn, but they let go Cam Chancellor. That entire secondary unit was completely gone. And I feel like what happened was Pete Carroll showed a lot of favoritism between Russ, and it was blatantly obvious. But I think what happened in this game magnified it so much to a point. I'm not going to say you lost the locker room, but like it negatively affected this team, whether from a psyche perspective or whatever. They could never get back over that. So I got to imagine they score here, they might kill the Patriots' run for a little while longer because I think we hadn't been back since 2012, I think. So it's like a 3-4 year gap. Seattle's gonna find a way to retain those players. They went back-to-back Super Bowls. You're extending Russell Wilson. You're gonna find a way to keep that secondary together. Seattle stays in the picture. I think Seattle definitely pulls off 3-4 Super Bowls in this era.
They're probably the next dynasty.
2014 and 2020. Like they had a really good squad. They weren't overly talented on offense, but they had just enough to get it done. And that secondary was so tall and long and athletic. They were always around the ball. You had Bobby Wagner still in the middle. You had Averill. You had Michael Bennett in the secondary.
MVP Malcolm Smith.
Malcolm Smith too. You had him.
Malcolm Smith, yeah.
Cam Chancellor, Earl Thomas, Richard Sherman. You would let go of Brandon Browner, which that was that was crazy in itself. Woo! Penalty machine. But the team was just I really feel like it took a while, but with this loss, it was completely it's like, dude, like what are we doing? Like what because they wanted Russ to win. I think they were trying to get Russ to win Super Bowl MVP, I think, was one of the reasons why. Trying to be able to put the ball in the end zone. But if I'm Pete Carroll, I'm sorry, bro. You have to hand that ball off. And I feel like he kind of put the nail in the coffin. They were relevant for the rest of his tenure. Like they only missed the playoffs. Pete Carroll was there like 14 years. They only missed the playoffs 4 times. Like that's a really good percentage of consistently being in the playoffs. But just feel like this game and that one decision completely killed all that momentum you had going forward. And you just seen terrible decision after terrible decision, cutting people, signing these people, and they just never could get back there. Now it feels like they're kind of regenerated that. You know, they've got a new head coach. They've done really good in drafting, especially on defense. But, man, imagine they win this game, back-to-back Super Bowls. Seattle's in the picture for the foreseeable future. Like, I don't see too many other teams in that era going to be able to knock Seattle off. If you retain those people and we're still playing to the same level, Seattle's winning 3-4 chips, easy. So my thing with this is if they win this game, Pete Carroll does end up leaving the team, but I feel he leaves the team on better terms. Obviously, he's won 3-4 Super Bowls at the time. He doesn't kind of get mutual parted ways. And Seattle's probably in a really good spot going into 5-6 years ago at this point. He's probably out of the league probably by 2020. I've already done everything I've needed to do. I've already won. I've already proven everything. You don't have all this crazy stuff with Russ freaking doing all the stuff. They end up trading him away. And they just had I'm not going to say they fully blew the team up, but the identity that they had for those first few years was completely gone. They had to completely rebuild from the bottom up. So, yeah, I feel like if they score a touchdown, they win this game, their trajectory continues to go up, and they're able to retain that team and win a lot more moving forward.
Yeah.
I agree.
What you think, Pitch Greg?
I don't think there's much wrong with that. I think I do think if they win that game, they probably become the next dynasty. The Patriots don't, the Seahawks are probably. Maybe they get the 3-peat. I mean, who knows? Maybe they run in that 2015 Broncos Panthers. I don't know. That would have been something. But
they would have. Hey, that Seattle team would have waxed Denver's ass again, bro. They would have waxed them again. Like they definitely would have won. If they would have had Denver the third time around, I feel like they would have beat Denver again. Just Seattle just had too much, bro. Me and Cam talk about that all the time. When that dude returned that freaking, what was it, that kick of that punt? I'm like, nope, that's over.
Percy Harvin.
Yeah, when he ran that back, everybody knew, bro.
When we were watching that Super Bowl, and I called, he's going to win MVP as soon as he crossed that goal line. He's going to win MVP, and I was right.
He was, man. Look, he was that was a good team, man. So we got some comments here, man. So it said if they ran the ball,
Oh, dude, yes,
Hall of Fame.
yes, and that's
Yes,
a good
agreed.
point. That's a very good point.
That
Uh,
Birchwood says he isn't a Hall of Famer. He's Hall of Famer, very good.
I don't know if he's. It's close, but I don't know if he is.
And,
It really depends on how he finishes out.
yes, Cheeseburger Eddie did win Rookie of the Year, but then he ate too many cheeseburgers, and that was it. He
I,
had one 70-yard playoff run, and I ain't seen him since.
have you all
So,
seen the interviews with like Richard Sherman and stuff like that on that game? Because I find those fascinating. Just hearing him and Marshawn Lynch talk about that game. There's some anger in that in those comments.
yeah, man. I mean, but you would think you gotta think about it too, man. Like they really cheated them out of another Super Bowl,
Yeah.
and like they're like I said, me being I like defense. So between me and Brandon, he's more of an offensive guy. I'm a defensive guy, right?
I'm
So
more
when it
defense
comes,
too, but that's
yeah.
just
So
me.
when it comes to defense, I really like good defensive units, man. They don't come around very often, right? Because think about it. Around this time, it was kind of trending towards the offense anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
The quarterbacks were getting more of the love. They're getting
Peyton.
protected. Yeah, you can't hit anybody and all of that, right? But before that, defense was king. You had the Ravens defense, right? You had the Steelers defense, right? Cincinnati had a really good defense.
Packers for a
The
time.
Packers had a pretty good defense, right?
The Cardinals.
Even the Patriots around that time had a really good defense. So defense for me, I love good defensive units that are the staple of the team, right? Not just the complementary piece. I like teams that are personified by their defense. The 85 Bears, 2000 Ravens, the early Patriots dynasties with Richard Sherman, Richard Seymour, and Ty Law and all those guys. I really like that shit. So Legion of Boom was like my alley. I was like, this shit is cool. You got a big ass dude in the backfield, in the back of your secondary, hitting people, knocking their face off. I like that. Then you got 6'5" corners, and they just out there hawking dudes because they can't get past them. Like, I love that type of shit. And when their defense was really popping, it was cool. So I enjoyed it. So the fact that they didn't run the ball, and I was like, bro, y'all been doing this all day. This is like Pete Carroll not running the ball, not having Reggie Bush in the game in that championship game, and just running the ball with Lindell. Everybody know what's gonna happen, so we finna
Mm-hmm.
stop them in the middle. But if you had Reggie Bush out there, that's somebody you gotta take out the box to look at Reggie Bush, right?
Yep.
So my
Agreed.
thing is, so I just think that when they decided not to run the ball, that was just, we don't want Marshawn to be the face of this Super Bowl because he already had that whole thing about, I'm not talking to y'all. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this media stuff. And one thing about the NFL, media is king. Every sport out here is struggling with this media thing. The NFL is not. Their game is accessible. Everybody across the world can watch this shit. And when you think about a guy that don't want to talk to the media,
I'm just here so I won't get fined.
I can't put him as a face because he doesn't want to do business.
Well,
And if you don't want to do business, that's what happened. And since they didn't want to do business, that's what happened to them.
how
And
much do you think the play? I think this was the play before. It was two plays before it. The breast pass. How much do you think the curse catch affected that call?
What you mean? Like what
When
we
Javon
is that
Curse,
catch? Isn't that I think you're talking about that ball where the guy was like falling down and he caught it
he
like on
fell
the
down,
side.
he juggled it, and
Yeah.
caught it, and that's what got them in like a first and goal situation
Mm-hmm.
to make that possible. And like, how much do you think that affected them?
hell, Marshawn actually carried the ball to the goal line anyway. Like
Right.
Yeah, I think he had
Yeah, because they caught. Okay, so it was a 3-play. It was a 3-play. They got down there. I don't think it was Lockett. I forget who it was. It might have been Curse.
It was
They caught
Curse.
it, juggled it. Yeah, it was Curse on the sideline, fell down, caught it. They handed it to Marshawn. They got inside the 5. And that's why everybody was like, dude, like he just gassed him. Just hand the ball off again. You can seal it. It's late in the game. And that's why everybody was so shocked because, I mean, he already had a pretty good game up to that point anyway.
Yeah.
You just gassed him. You just gassed him for like almost 10 yards. And they're like, okay, we'll just hand the ball up and seal the deal. And they didn't.
I'm
So,
just
yeah.
like, and then to get to your point about what's up, Joseph Hayes? And we get to some of y'all comments in a minute, but to get to the end of your point when you said how their team just looked afterwards, that's how your team is going to look when you take the definition of your team, the meat, the bones, when you take it away and try to give it to somebody that didn't earn it. And that's what happens. You gave Russell Wilson the face of the team, the keys to the organization, and he hadn't earned it yet.
When they built his ego so high, like they completely skyrocketed him, and it killed everything.
Yeah, right. You made him into something he really wasn't. He wasn't a star player. He wasn't the guy that really needed the camera in his face, right? But you created this monster, which is what was shown in Denver, right?
Yep.
I'm the guy.
Just the high knees.
Yeah, I'm the guy. I'm the one that won the Super Bowl, which really never happened. He started to live in a false reality that he was the reason why they won that Super Bowl. In fact, he's the reason why they lost the second one. But now you give him the keys and you create this monster of a person who's really not like that at all, right? When in reality, that's really what killed their team, right? Why did they lose those playoff games? Why did they keep going 10-6, right? All under Russ's watch, in a sense, right? They lost to, I mean, they came back and beat the Packers in that crazy game, right? But it doesn't matter because
that was Brandon Bostic more than anything.
Yeah, exactly, Brandon Bostic. Yeah, we understand that way. But
that's crazy.
Yeah, but nonetheless, right? That's what happened. They took away the identity of their team, and that's really what happened to their team, right? So
Well, look
I
at the
agree with you.
within the next 3 years. All their main staples were gone.
Yeah.
Cam Chancellor's gone.
Yeah.
Sherman's gone. Thomas
Yeah.
is gone within less than 3 seasons. Those big hitters, those guys who made the biggest impact for your team and got you, they were all gone.
Yeah, we forgetting one important person, Michael Bennett.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love Michael Bennett, especially when he came to us. Oh,
See what I'm saying? So
I hated when you all got
Mr. I don't wear shoulder
Bennett.
pads. I love me some Michael Bennett.
yeah, so that's my whole thing. You took away the identity of the team, and then you gave it to somebody who didn't earn it. And a lot of those guys probably felt the same way. They probably
You're trying to throw to Ricardo Lockett, for goodness sake.
You know, like that's another thing. Like, even though he's the biggest receiver out of the ones that they had, like that pass made no sense. Like, he's like the fourth option.
Okay, here's another thing to take away from this game. Does Malcolm Butler's legacy change?
Definitely.
This changed him into a superstar. And then, of course, we had the whole debacle with him in the Eagles Super Bowl where he got benched and he never played. I mean, he never really came back to that status again.
Nobody even knew why. To this day, if you listen to Edelman and them, none of them even have any idea why he didn't play in that game. But yeah, this play definitely solidified. Like, he was okay, but he grinded, bro. Like, he almost didn't even make it to the league at all. Like, he had to grind from like Division III, bro. Like, he earned it, but like him getting put in this spot, like, he probably would have carved out a decent like rotating player. Might have started games here and there, but this game definitely pushed him into the spotlight. You pick off a ball and seal the Super Bowl. Yeah, you're gonna get some freaking looks and get paid.
I mean, that's why he went to the Titans that year after the Super Bowl.
Yeah, he ended up getting paid, and that's what he was because he actually turned out to be a pretty good football player. But had he played in that Super Bowl, that pass to Alshon Jeffrey doesn't happen.
Oh, you talking about that Philly special?
No, Alshon Jeffrey, the touchdown
Yeah,
that definitely sealed it.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen because I guarantee he's going to guard
Alshon.
Alshon Jeffrey. So I think that's something that could happen, right? If he doesn't get benched, what happens, right? Because now you're going into another Super Bowl that y'all won. Now Brady's not at what? How many Super Bowls was that?
6. It was
Before,
7.
well, no, we won 2 after that.
Yeah,
I think Brady's at 4 up to that point because we beat Seattle. We're at 4.
Right. So now we finishing at a point where now you add another one. Does he even
5.
leave New England at that point?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so because Bill is the one who wanted to roll with the young gun and Garoppolo, the owner. I don't know why his name's slipping away from me, but didn't want to cut him at all. Oh no, I feel like if they beat Philly there, no, I think unless things drastically kept getting worse, like how they kind
that
of
would have been a three-peat. Dude, that would have been a three-peat. I'm just thinking about it. They beat the Falcons
Atlanta,
the year before, then they beat the Eagles. If they beat the Eagles that year, then they go and beat the Rams in the worst game ever in the Super Bowl history.
He might have. I wouldn't say he ride off into the sunset. I feel like he just wanted to keep winning, and I think he just realized that they had finally ran out. Like it was time to just he wanted to prove something to himself and to obviously the media and everything. He could do it without Bill, but yeah, that would have been a crazy scenario though.
But technically, he didn't prove anything because Bill still has more Super Bowls than him.
Yeah, but I mean, he did though, in the fact that literally went to. I mean, to say he went to the BUCS in year 1 and freaking pushed freaking Kansas City to the limit and knocked them out.
And he's one Cooper Cup pass away from going to the next round.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and the crazy thing is, like, up until the Eagles this year, nobody else punked out Mahomes like that. Besides Brady. Nobody, like Cincinnati knocked them out in the AFC title game, but in the Super Bowl, Brady was the only one before that who ever punked him out like that. And that was like
and to be honest, he was punking out everybody else.
Yeah, so when that happened, everybody's like, whoa, like, oh, well, they not unbeatable. And obviously they went on to win for a few years, and everybody's like, well, we can't beat them. And obviously Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith had something to say about that, and they punked them out.
Get them to that defense was nasty, bro.
It was.
That defense was nasty. To be able to get to Mahomes with just 4 down linemen,
they didn't blitz like at all.
Yeah,
at all. 4 down linemen. They was hunting Mahomes all game.
But I will say that ball Hurts threw down the seam was a perfect ball.
It was.
Oh, yeah.
Right down the seam to Devontae Smith was nasty. Oh my God.
That's what stuck a fork in it. Once they get
that was it.
Yeah, that was
the killing blow.
Yeah, but before I get into my what if, man, let's answer something, man. And I guess he talked about on their Lions team.
Remember when they had Vanden Bosch too? Before Gronk permanently retired him.
Yeah, but I told you that was like one of my favorite defensive line groups. You had a young Ziggy Ansah, you had Nick Fairley in the middle, you had Sue in the middle, and you had Vanden Bosch on the outside. I was like, bro,
gone. I think he might have been gone by that point.
No, he was there. I think he got hurt that season. But coming into that season, you had 4 dudes that you could rush the passer with, and that was legit for me. But they had nobody that could cover. Their secondary was like bottom in the league. It was like 30th. Like that shit was ass. They didn't do shit. So, but nonetheless, those are pretty good dudes too, man. But, we said hi to Jason Hayes and said create the Packcast. I guess that's a podcast for Packers.
Tom Grossi, yeah.
Okay, and then it made Malcolm Butler. And then I'm a Ravens fan, and Brandon is a Saints and Patriots fan. So surprising today he's rocking the Jets. But nonetheless, you got to support the division too.
If Cam's original team wouldn't have left, he'd still be a Rams fan.
Oh yeah, you most definitely right. I would be rocking my St. Louis Rams gear all the time, bro. But now it's just I'm in mourning every year since 2015. So yeah, man. But this ain't about me. This is about the What If series, man. So thanks, Brandon, for that, because that was pretty cool. That was deep. So my what if, man, what if Bo Jackson signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, right?
Oh.
So to understand where I'm going here, we gotta go back a couple years, right? So
I
during
like
the late
this.
70s and the early 80s, the Buccaneers were a good team. You had a young Doug Williams, and you had a very, very aggressive defense led by Leroy Selman, and I believe they got Hugh Green, who up until Ndamukong Suh, Charles Woodson, and Aiden Hutchinson was the highest rated player in college football in terms of Heisman voting. He was number 2. Oh, yo, fellow to my team.
It's okay. So you root for like I said, if Cam's team is still there, he'd have 2 as well. But when you grow up in a team, like in a state, and you have a team, yeah, you're gonna follow that team.
Yeah.
But I came up in a generation where I'm not a bandwagon fan at all. I've been a Patriots fan for like 22, 23 years. I had a demo for NFL Fever 03, and the only teams you could play with were the Rams and the Patriots. And I never jumped off. I stayed on when we won. I stayed on when we lost.
So you the reason why we lost. You should have picked you the
Should have picked the Rams.
Yeah, you're the multiverse person that fucked it all the way up for me. Should have whispered in your ear and your subconscious be like, pick the Rams so we can win.
This is the same Super Bowl that they said that the Patriots were the American Patriots.
Man, I guess, man. But I mean, I was just more mad because Mike Martz is a fucking dumbass. That's the whole thing. That's my whole thing, man. But I could go on a rabbit hole on that all day, man. But let's talk about Bo Jackson and the Buccaneers, right? So, like I said, Hugh Green was one of the best defensive players in college football history. Like I said, he had the highest finish ever up until we got into Charles Woodson and all them guys, right? So that shows you how good he was, right? And I want to say he was on the same Pittsburgh team with Ricky Jackson as well. So Ricky Jackson turned out to be pretty good linebacker as well, right? So I say all this to say, right? The team is headed in the right direction, right? They go to the NFC title game, I want to say in 78, 79, something like that. But the team was good. Doug Williams was good. You had Wilder Jr. became a good running back for them. He had led the league in touchdowns or something like that. So they had a really good team, right? And then they just fell on hard times, right? And John McKay, who I believe, man, he was with the Rams for a minute after that. He was with Eric Dickerson and all of them. He was there. So he ran the ball a lot, right? As he went on his coaching career, right? So you can understand the idea of this team, right? Running the football, power, right? But like I said, they fell on hard times, and then the USFL started to become a little bit more popular, right? People started making money over there, and everybody thought it was going to be the big thing. And then Donald Trump got in there, and then that was it. But like I said, neither here or there, right? But a contract dispute with Doug Williams set this team on a thing, right? Doug Williams get you to the NFC title game. You're thinking, that's our guy, right? But he leaves and joins the USFL for more money, right? That's just what it is. So team loses games, trades first round draft picks, doesn't do anything, becomes the creamsicles, as people called them back in the day. And they, lose the opportunity to draft the first overall pick the year before, right? And they traded away because obviously they need an insurance policy for no quarterback. Turns out to be a dud. And then now you go into this draft, right? So before we get into Bo Jackson, let's talk about the quarterback that was there the year before. Let's talk about Steve Young, right? Everybody knows Steve Young is an MVP. He's a Super Bowl MVP. He was basically the dude that was poised to take the job from Joe Montana. That's the guy we're talking about. But before he came to be that guy, he was with the Buccaneers.
And he hated it.
Team was bad. Well, before that, he was in the USFL.
Cool. He was good too.
Yeah, he was in USFL, and everybody knows the money was funny in the USFL. So people wasn't getting paid on time or at all. So that's really how it went. You know, he signed a big money deal. I want to say with the LA Express, 10 years, 40 million.
No, was he with the Galaxy? Whatever.
No, I don't think it was no Galaxy. I thought
Okay,
it was
maybe
the
not.
Express.
No, maybe because me and you talk USFL all the time. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else.
I mean, it had an NFL Europe Galaxy, but I don't. But nonetheless, he buys out his contract and joins the Buccaneers, right? In that supplemental draft thing that they had when the USFL folded. So he joins the Buccaneers. It was okay. The team was just ass, right?
Mhm.
So keep that in your mind. Steve Young is the quarterback of this team. Then you got a chance to draft Bo Jackson, right? Bo Jackson is a two-sport superstar at this time, Heisman winner, Auburn winning, hitting home runs, breaking tackles. Look at this dude. You could put him on all your programs and sell out the stadium. Dude's good looking, he run over people, and he play baseball. Let's get it, right? But the owner of the team obviously is a cheapskate because he didn't want to keep Doug Williams for 900,000 or something he was asking for. Not even a lot. Not even a lot to us, right? Not even a lot. That's not a lot, right? Then Bo Jackson lets you know, hey, I want to still play baseball. I want to go back and play with my team for my senior year. So he's like, yeah. So he gets there on the private jet, which at this time is an illegal benefit. You can't do it. So he told, I guess the owner said, oh, yeah, you'll be good, man. Just come down here and check out the facility, right? NCAA gets word of this. He is now deemed ineligible to play for his Auburn Tigers team in baseball that season. So Bo Jackson is obviously upset because he loves fucking baseball, right? So he's upset and he leaves. He's like, I'm not playing for them. So stupidity. He's not gonna pass up number one money, is he? Bo Jackson doesn't sign with them, and then you get Bo Jackson, the MLB superstar, right? Doesn't sign with them, right? So when you think about Bo Jackson on this team, right? Maybe you keep a guy like Hugh Green, right? Instead of trading him to the Dolphins, right? You got an apex predator basically, and Leroy Selman, right? Now he ended up retiring from a herniated disc or whatever, but let's say he still plays there. That doesn't happen. Now you got one of your best players of all time. You got Hugh Green, who's a really good player. You got James Wilder, who's still on the team at this time. He got multi touchdowns, right? And he's a running back, but still, now you got a two-headed monster in an era where running the ball is king. You know, so now you think about the future. I got a young Steve Young that I don't need to pass the ball all the time. But let's keep that in mind. He can do that. Now, as the game changes over time, we still got Bo Jackson. We got Wilder on offense. Hugh Green, all those guys might have started to slow down a little bit, but we still get impact years out of them. At least 2, 3, maybe 4. Right? We might get 2 or 3 out of Leroy Selman because he was like their first pick ever. But you got some cornerstone pieces in place as you move into the late 80s and early 90s, right? So before we even get to the Trent Dilfer era of fucking BUCS, we still got Steve Young. We don't even need that. Now we just add some receivers, we got some offensive line, we do this, that, and everything. So this whole thing turns out to be a disaster for the Bucks, man. You don't hear about the Buccaneers being good at anything until they start, I guess, until Culverson sells the team.
Until they start drafting Sapp and Brooks and all those guys.
Lynch, Derek Brooks,
Yep.
or Dunn, like guys like that. Once you start changing the team around, right? Tony Dungy becomes the coach and everything. So that's my whole thing. So I think if they draft Bo Jackson and he signs with them, I think they go into a golden era of football and they become really good. Because I'm thinking if you have Steve Young and you have a two-headed monster like that, will give you about 1,500 yards a piece, maybe 25 touchdowns a piece, right? Not a piece, but at least 25 total touchdowns, right? You could really take over the team because now you can win games late because your defense is good, and I got two bulldozers at running back, man. So if y'all don't know who James Wilder is, man, look him up. Dude, nice, right? So that's my thing. I think that team turns out to be really good, and they don't even get to the point where they have to wait until the 2000s to get a Super Bowl. I think they can at least get one or two because who's stopping that backfield, in my opinion? And don't forget, Steve Young can run too now. So there you go. So that's
and they don't have to go with Trent Dilfer as their quarterback.
I like the idea. I like the idea of unknown for San Fran because, like, what do they do? Because they end up trading Montana out of nowhere, right before the draft to Kansas City, and you roll with Steve Young. Do you roll with him for longer? Do you take a gamble on somebody else? It's a chance that San Francisco might not win those other two Super Bowls in the 90s. Say if they just gamble and they end up trading him anyway, like, who's their insurance policy? Does Tampa Bay make runs in the playoffs? Can they make a run to a Super Bowl? And the way the divisions, everything is set up, things were still a lot different back then compared to what they are now. I mean, that could be and having a guy like Young that can scoot and run while still being able to throw the ball and having a really solid running game like they could have, Tampa Bay's a dangerous team.
I'm just thinking about what Bo Jackson and James Wilder.
Well, I'm saying when you have the ability to run the ball like that, like
goddamn, because like I said, in the 80s, bro, running backs were king, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like
you guys who they had Bo Jackson, Earl Campbell, like
I'm saying, Earl Campbell,
that's my dog.
Bo Jackson, man. Eric Dickerson was 83. So I mean, like you had studs in the backfield back then. So I mean, like to have two guys that are like workhorses, man. We could pass 30% of the time, bro. I'm good. Like, yo, like 2,000 yards coming from two running backs, man. And then if John McKay, who became, I think, is it John McKay or John, one of them?
John McKay, yeah.
Yeah, if it's John McKay, who is more of a run first guy, if he stays there longer, right, and they're not as bad, imagine what he can do with those two running backs. Because he already fed Eric Dickerson to the point where he got to the record for single yards in a season. So imagine giving him Bo Jackson and James Wilder, bro. I'm just thinking that shit'll be wild. So but that's my what if. I think their team becomes really good, man. But then Birchwood says, Hugh Culverson was pretty bad, bro. He was cheap as fuck. I mean, he was cheap, bro. Like, we talking about 100,000, right, between us three guys, right? It's a lot for us, right? But in terms of like a billionaire, like what's 100,000 for your starting quarterback? He just got you to the title game. You better pay him and stop being cheap.
And then Doug Williams turns around and wins a Super Bowl.
Yeah. Turns around and wins a Super Bowl.
Yeah, Doug Williams wins 2 Super Bowls, correct? Yeah, because Joe Gibbs?
No. He
because they had Rippon after that.
Yeah, because remember the best thing about Joe Gibbs is he won 3 Super Bowls with like 3 different quarterbacks.
Yep.
So yeah, I only
And
think
Williams
Doug
ripping.
Williams,
Who was it? Williams ripping, and who's the other guy? Was that wasn't Dodgeman?
Theismann.
Dodgeman, yeah. Before he jacked
Yeah,
his leg up, one of the most.
yeah,
If you guys haven't seen it, one of the most gruesome injuries ever. I don't know if you got a weak stomach, don't watch it. But if you got a strong stomach, it's pretty wild.
yeah. But yeah, Birchwood, Dan Snyder was absolutely terrible. Oh my God, like Jesus, you just throwing money at players that you don't
And
even know can play.
and they're finally gonna get a new stadium. Finally, dude, it was way overdue.
Back in, and did you see the renderings though?
Uh-huh.
It looks like the Washington D.C. like skyline. It's like everything looked like a Capitol building almost. It's fucking beautiful.
Well,
Like,
dude, that stadium, they
it's
needed
beautiful.
to get a new stadium like 15, 20 years ago. That stadium's just like how you said how the Rams were like way outdated. That Redskins stadium was really outdated, bro. Like
Don't
just like
remind
how
me.
Soldier Field's really outdated. Like
Don't remind me. Reggie Bush still suing the Rams because he slipped on that concrete. I'm like, bro, why y'all got concrete down here anyway? Like, move that shit out the way. But that's why they moved. You seen SoFi Stadium? That shit is gorgeous. They ain't built no SoFi Stadium in St. Louis. That's not happening. That's not happening. So
I really hope y'all get in the team though.
shit, I'll take the Battlehawks, man. Let them be an expansion team. Fuck it. They sell out that motherfucking stadium.
But see, the dumb shit with me was if you're gonna let the Rams go to LA, find a way to keep the Chargers in San Diego, bro. That does not work. The Chargers in LA just ain't it,
Man,
bro.
that's
San
because
Diego
their
was like,
owner, man. Their owner was a fucking punk, man.
but I'm saying though,
Only
but
did-
like they don't belong there.
They
We've said
don't.
this. They
But
don't at all, bro.
But he was a punk, man, because they was like, well, we gonna go to LA and you can come with us, and then you can just be our second tenant and it'll be cool. So you ain't gotta spend no money. And he like, well, that's cool because I don't want to pay the city of San Diego anyway.
They don't
So
both play. They both playing so far, yeah.
yeah, so I'm
Yeah,
like,
see, they
that's what
pulled
I'm
the same thing
saying.
with the Meadowlands, like the Giants and the Jets. That's so stupid. Like, dude,
That's what I'm saying. Like that's stupid as fuck. So
just
now
tear down Qualcomm Stadium and build a new one, dude. People in San Diego love the Chargers, bro. Just like how
love
people
the
in
Chargers.
just like how people in Oakland love the Raiders. It's like the same. Like that's how. And when they left, dude, that freaking left a bitter taste in my mouth.
The equivalent of the Chargers leaving San Diego is Seattle losing the Supersonics. That's the same
Yes.
thing.
Yeah, I would say so.
That's the
I would
same
agree with
thing.
that.
Like they haven't recovered. The city hasn't recovered from it. San Diego hasn't recovered from it, right? Because it's like, damn, like the Chargers been here since the AFL days.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Supersonics won an NBA championship in the 70s. So the city is already invested in that. And they've seen eras of different players, right? Grandfathers, sons,
Well, look at the Chargers, bro.
grandkids.
Dan Fouts.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, Dan
Drew
Fouts,
Brees.
Drew Brees, Phillip Rivers. I mean, then you go with
LT.
with
Good
LT,
defense, bro. Like freaking Junior
Junior
Seau.
Seau.
Like,
Like, come on,
Ronnie
man. Like,
Harrison.
dude.
Roger Harrison,
He
exactly.
came to us.
Quentin Jammer.
Yep.
Like,
Quentin
come
Jammer.
on, man. So,
Antonio
like,
Cremota.
yeah, Kellen Winslow Senior, right? So,
Not Junior.
yeah, definitely not Junior, man. But I mean, he was a kid there, so that counts. Like,
Yeah.
but despicable human, but one good football player. We'll say that, right?
But-
We'll
but
say
that-
we got a couple people that we talk about on this show that were very good football players, but despicable humans.
But that's probably the one that bothered me. Like I hated seeing the Raiders leave to go to Vegas, but the
Yeah.
Raiders weren't always in Oakland, so it bothered me, but didn't bother me as much. The Chargers just like that San Diego's team, bro. Like just like them
San
leaving
Diego loved the Chargers.
bothered the hell. It still bothers me. I don't think I've
Yeah.
ever gotten over that because I loved
But-
the LT days. Like
But for Oakland leaving, to go to Las Vegas, that was about 50 years in the making, right?
Yeah.
Because Al Davis got the team and he been trying to get a stadium in Oakland for a minute.
He
And I think they got the Coliseum, right? But after that, he was trying to get another one.
Yeah, he
one
wanted
for
to do it.
them that they didn't have to share with the Oakland A's.
Yeah, because they'll play on that freaking
and
turf.
you know,
Not
and
that freaking dirt.
and that prompted that move to LA, right? When they became the Los Angeles Raiders, right? We're gonna play in the Coliseum for a minute, and then we're gonna get a new stadium. That never happened, so now they gotta move back to Oakland and the Coliseum, right? So now that Al Davis is gone, the son, Mark Davis, is now like, okay, what are we doing? Like, we gonna get this stadium or not, right? Because I got an offer from Vegas and this is looking really promising. I got land picked out, I got all this stuff picked out, right? What y'all gonna do? And they just decided not to match the offer, and then that's why we got Las Vegas. But my thing is just it had been brewing for years. And I'm just glad that they got a stadium, you know.
But I mean, if they were gonna move a team to LA, I would have said just if you're gonna move the Chargers or the Raiders, move the Raiders to LA. It just makes a bit more sense, in my opinion. I just don't see why you move the Chargers to LA because they're not the same brand as the Rams. Like it felt right for the Rams to go there. You know what I mean? It just felt forced for the Chargers to be there. It just doesn't. It hasn't made sense to me since.
Even the Rams really didn't make no sense, but like from a financial standpoint, it made sense because if an owner of less stature than Stan Kroenke makes that move, I don't think it works. I don't think they approve it because you have to come into that situation with some bread. And one thing about Stan Kroenke is Stan Kroenke got some bread. He owned the Nuggets and the Avalanche, two teams that have been in their respective championship games in the last 10 years. So they got some bread, right? So when you talk about, well, we don't need the city's money. I got my own. I'm gonna put this up myself. That's an easier thing.
Well, yeah, than trying to freaking suit it the other way.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just makes more sense, right? The owner's like, shit, we ain't gotta put no money up to help you move. Shit, okay. We will prove that in a heartbeat. We good. I'm good. Think about Jerry Jones in that meeting. I ain't gotta share no money. Shit, I'm good. Robert Kraft, your owner, I ain't gotta share no money. Shit, I'm good. Yes, I'll vote yes on that. Who else? Who you like, Pitch Grid? What team you like in the NFL?
I'm a Chiefs fan myself, personally.
So that Lamar Hunt family, like, shit, okay, we ain't gotta spend no money.
Think of the Roonies. They're like, nope.
Shit, the Roonies probably said, fuck no. Fuck all of you. I'm not voting on shit. Hey, that's one thing about the Roonies. They do things their way. Like when the NFL says let's go right, they go left. They don't.
Yeah, hey, dude, like
they don't. I mean, dude, that's crazy. But that's my whole thing, man. Like the Rams made no sense because it didn't work anyway when they was in LA the first time. Like they never succeeded over the Lakers. Never. They never will be bigger than the Lakers. They'll never be bigger than the Dodgers. And now since they got
old sorry ass Rams.
Yeah, now you got the what is that? You got the soccer team. Shit, the Galaxy might be bigger than them in terms of fan support. So
LAFC
I mean,
at this point.
but now it's like that the argument's gonna be null and void now because they won that Super Bowl. So it's like, hey, well, we won as soon as we came out here, yada yada yada. It's like,
yeah, but their first Super Bowl ever was in St. Louis. It's like
I like those smaller markets. I like the smaller market getting a team like that. I like it. It's like when you have those. It's like when you have those. Okay, it's like when you move somewhere and you can either go shop at like the big corporate owned place or you got the mom and pop, the locally owned place. I'm gonna want to go to the mom and pop locally owned place more times than not. So like with the Rams in St. Louis, I'm like, I like that. Now they were trash for a long time. I mean, you can after y'all won. I mean, I'm not gonna dig the dagger any deeper. I wanted them to be good.
I'm like, man, hold up, man. We was pretty good at first.
No, I'm saying like I wanted them to be good, but it's like, man, y'all just kept hitting every freaking stumbling block. So like when they started talking
Yeah,
about that,
man.
I'm like, dude, they're gonna
Like,
freaking
dude,
shaft
we had
them.
a good ass defense, man. We had Robert Quinn.
Yeah, y'all
We
got a
had
top 5
young
running
Chris
back.
Long. We had Michael Brockers in the middle. We had
Yeah.
Laurinaitis. We had Alec Ogletree on the outside. We had two safeties that was like 90s level violent, and McDonald and McLeod. Then we had
Yeah.
Janoris Jenkins as our number one corner, and you compare him with anybody on the other side, he was stopping people.
Yeah, and y'all got a
Like,
top 5 running back.
I
And no
mean, they had
quarterback.
a top 5 running back, but we
No
had nothing
receivers.
else.
Y'all
That's
ain't have
it.
no. They all have no good receivers and have no
None,
quarterback.
bro. And then we had Danny Amendola, right? He was our number one, and he was a pipsqueak.
Oh man,
He was
I was
absolutely killing. Then
I
we
was
had
so
Chris
mad.
Givens. Chris Givens for a stretch was like the best deep ball threat in the league. Like 20 plus yards a catch, bro. Like he was clowning dudes. Then we ship him to Baltimore and get nothing back. So that's my thing. I thought it was just a coup to leave anyway, because no way I'm paying Sam Bradford this much money and he tears ACL 2 years in a row
Yeah.
on nothing, on no contact injuries. I'm
I feel
thinking
like he should have came out the year before, and I bet you he would have
yes,
avoided all that. He would have
yes.
avoided all that. And he
I'm
was.
mad. I'm mad that we lost to Detroit and they got Matthew Stafford, and that's the only game we won that season.
I remember watching that when it happened. I'm like, damn, well that freaking sucks. Like they're not getting him though.
I was like, then we got some dude that didn't even last 3 years, bro. Like it seemed like we was chasing the ghost of Orlando Pace for like 15 years, bro. Like after we drafted Orlando Pace and he was like the left tackle for 15 years, and then he left, and that was it. Every
and
left
then y'all
tackle we got after that was
and
hot
then y'all
garbage.
drafted homeboy out of Thibodeau with like the second pick, and that went absolutely nowhere.
Yeah, Greg Robinson, bro, he looks so good.
Dude,
Oh
he
my
was big
god,
as
he
hell
looks
too,
so
bro.
good.
I remember when we played against him in high school, and I'm like, dude, that dude is big as hell.
Oh
Like
my god, he was so good, man. At
he
Auburn, he
was
had him
so
running. He had them on the pulling guards and shit. He just
dude,
was
he
mowing
was
down every fucking
he
body. I was
was
like, yeah, like
oh
we
man.
need that, and he couldn't do shit for us, man. He couldn't mow nothing. You couldn't pay him to do your line. He was so bad. Oh my god, he was so bad, dog. Dog,
Not to mention Cam really likes Donnie Avery.
man, fuck no. Donnie Avery was horrible.
Dude,
I
I
have
can't get
mixed
over
feelings
that
about
last
Johnny
time.
Avery.
I remember
I
I always go back, I always say that because Cam has this reaction. He's like, man, Donnie Avery was really good at first. And he gets hurt, and he's like, no, he's like, he's not gonna be any good now.
And he wasn't. He
Hey, he
wasn't.
came to the Chiefs and had a good couple of years before he fell off a cliff.
Dude, I remember
Everybody does that. Everybody leaves. I hate
and
that.
then you were talking about Amendola. I remember when Welker left us in free agents, he went to Denver, and then we get Amendola. I'm like, oh hell no, this dude ain't Wes Welker, bro. But I'm like, it ended up working out. It worked out really well. It worked out really well. And Cam's like, another one freaking left.
Yeah, man. So but yeah, that's the what if, man. You know, we end the show like that. We just have these open discussions, man, where we just be shooting the shit and stuff, man. But we try to keep our shows under 2 hours, man, because we really want people to watch the whole thing. And I know people's attention span is like mine, it's kind of short. So I'll save it and watch it later. But hopefully y'all do the same. But before we go, man, where can the people find you, Pitch Grid, man?
You can find me on YouTube and Spotify and Apple. I post a lot of short content as well on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube. So just look up the Pitch Grid and you'll probably find me somewhere. Appreciate any support and appreciate you guys having me on. Man, this was really cool.
Man. Of course, man. Anything you gotta say to the people before we get out of here, Brandon?
Yeah, make sure before you go anywhere, check out those social media handles at the bottom. Make sure to give us all a like, follow, subscribe. Make sure to check out all of his content as well. Subscribe, follow, like all the content. You will not be disappointed. I know a lot of you people are probably discouraged because the off season is here. Nothing crazy going on. But in the off season, we can do so much things. These what if series. I'm going to bring back the fantasy draft series. Maybe do some gaming stuff on the channel at some point, depending. I mean, I know College Football 26 is going to be coming out in the next couple months, so maybe we'll try to set something up with that. Tons and tons of stuff to talk about. There's really an endless amount of things to talk about, so don't be discouraged. We're here the same time every Sunday. Just be here, and you're going to be entertained. Shout out to Tyler for his comments. Shout out to the Birchwood Vampire. See that Smooth didn't have too much to say tonight, but shout out to him. Shout out to Nicholas. And who else? Damn, y'all really been going crazy. Shout out to Joseph. And yeah, shout out to all of you guys. Things are going really well. Make sure to smash the like button across all platforms. It really helps get the content to out to a lot of other people that really like it. Make sure to check us out every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We do live game streamings. We do pack openings usually every Wednesday or so. So definitely check us out. All of our shorts. You won't be disappointed.
Nah, man, couldn't have said it better myself, man. But like I said, 32,000 subscribers, man. We closing in on 33. So
Let's
keep
go.
watching. Yeah, keep watching, keep sharing, and we gonna keep growing. We trying to get this algorithm to really like us, so we can keep going, man. Even though we are not like one of those shows that or people sitting, face to face talking. I think we do pretty good in a virtual set, So y'all keep liking, y'all keep sharing, man, and we will see y'all next Sunday, man. Y'all know the drill. Come join us. Let's talk ball, man. All right. That's been a football frame of mind. Thank you, Pitch Grid, for blessing us with this fun conversation, man. We enjoyed it. And Brandon, of course.
Thanks for having me on.
Of course, man. Of course, man. And Brandon, I will see you next Sunday, man. Probably even talk after this. But we up out of here, man. See y'all next time.
Peace.